Hi, this is Kim with Mom's Creative Moments, and today I am continuing my series on back to school, and just wanted to make one quick adjustment because as I've noticed here, when I hit record, my camera tends to zoom in a little bit further than I want it to. There we go. That should work nicely. All right. This is, as I said, a continuation of my videos for back to school. And if you tuned into the last one, we got through junior high school to 8th grade graduation. And that's what this is the second, the right-hand page of. And so now we're going to proceed to 9th grade. Now I've gone ahead and I've already done all of my pages for 9th grade, 10th grade, and 11th grade. So we're just going to do a quick flip through, and then I will work on assembling a couple of pages for 12th grade. All right, and it's not going to be all of the pages for 12th grade, but it will be a couple. So this is freshman year, again, in keeping with our annual paper pack. We've got our freshman page here. And this, I did cover the whole page with the freshman page out of the annual pack. I did not trim the page at all, mostly because I wanted to go ahead and just cover what was on this page. And honestly, I don't remember what it was just now. But again, I played soccer that season, and this is me studying. This is my ID card, and it's in a plastic sleeve so that the adhesive that's on the ASB card that is attached to the back doesn't bother the paper or leach into anything. And then I have this cool postcard from BYU, which was a major event. Our church organization sent a whole contingent of youth to a summer program at BYU called Especially for Youth. And so at the age of 14, I was just a freshman. The summer after this school year in 1984, I went with a group of kids to BYU for a week. And we went to Especially for Youth, which was fantastic. And we had such a ball. So I wanted to include this postcard in here. And put it into a peekaboo pocket. As you can see, it fits perfectly in the peekaboo pocket. This is just a 4x6, and this is going to go over my ID card right here, just centered over this soccer picture so that it can be flipped over and we can read the other side of the postcard as well as see the ID card. But this peekaboo pockets are generally put on after you put your protective sleeve, so that's why that's just kind of loose right there. These are some photos from another event that we did that summer right after my freshman year. We were in what we called a road show back at that time, and my really good friend Vicky, my best friend at the time, she was a dancer and a very good dancer, and I could sing really well. I'm not a dancer. And it fit really well into the play that we were doing for, there was a doll that had the head removed, and so Vicky played the body of the doll that got up and does a dance, and while she's dancing, my head was sitting on a table and I was singing. Kind of morbid, I guess, but it was fun to do at the time. And anyway, just some other characters from that experience. So really fun. But you don't probably need to know all that. You're just concerned about the layouts, right? So here we have my sophomore year. Again, I played soccer. I actually played soccer for my high school my sophomore year. But unfortunately, I searched far and wide and could not find any pictures of me playing. So I don't know what happened there, but definitely don't have that. So I just cut some soccer balls out of a decorative piece of acid and lignin-free paper and put them on here so that I will remember and make a note up here and explain that I did play soccer for my high school. This is my best friend Vicki and her dad, and this is my mom and my little sister. And then this page over here, oh, and this is on a full sheet of paper that wallpapers the page, just the sophomore annual page. Then this page, the right hand side of this layout, this is one piece of paper that has 3 strips on it back here. I'm trying to remember, I think it came from the Prismatic pack, but I could be wrong about that, I'm not sure. And then this ring, this purple ring of paper, is made with paper and using the custom cutting system Jumbo Circle. And I cut with my blue blade and I cut with my red blade, and then I was left with this really cool outline of a circle. My school colors are purple and gold, so that's why the purple and the gold. And then I was a youth leader at camp that year, so that's what these pictures are from, or my experience as a youth camp leader. So then we flip over to junior year, and junior year is actually when I got my driver's license. And I drove this big green Dodge Maxi van. As you can see, it's extended about 5 feet from the rear wheelbase back here. It was literally like driving a bus. And this was the cockpit, or the inside. And so just some fun stuff there. And again, my ID card from that year. And a note from my teacher to my parents. My mom made me a quilt for my 16th birthday. That's what this is right here. And then I played soccer again. Was actually on the All-Star team somewhere in here, but this is not the All-Star team photo right here, so I'm not sure what's going on there. But anyway, my dad, grandpa, granddad came to visit and watch. I also, that summer, was honored queen of my Job Daughters Bethel. If you're familiar with Masonic organizations, I was the honored queen, and this was my installation. This is all of my family that were in attendance at that event. Sans little Michael right here, but he's like a family member. He was really little in that picture. He's a dad now. He has like 4 kids. Anyway, just some fun friends and family photos to include in there. And then I also have this newspaper clipping because the guardian overseeing our group of girls in our Bethel actually passed away. She had cancer. It was a very sad event, and so I marked that in my old scrapbook, so I went ahead and put that into this one. This is the beginning of my senior year. These are my senior photos, some of them, and then some of my friends' photos. This was a part of that old album. If you saw the flip through of my senior album, that's purple and gold. This is the 87 off the front of that. And these 2 pages are, well, let's see. This page right here is Fast2Fab, so all of this is printed on the page. And to make the pages gel and go together, I went ahead and used, again, a strip of that paper that looks like a ruler, like I used on the pages in the last video. And then this is a border strip from an old collection. I think it was called Bookworm, maybe, or something like that. Anyway, it kind of went along with the same type of theme as was going on this page, so I blended the 2 that way. This is adhered by using the CM photo tape. It looks like this and comes in a strip. And I just put it literally all over in different places on the back of this in order to get it to stick to the page. And hopefully it won't, damage things too much because it is quite raised up and bumpy, but we're going to go with it. I just didn't want to throw it away. During my senior year, I was a part of a choir at the university. And that choir traveled down to downtown San Diego, and we were fortunate enough to get to watch A Christmas Carol in a theater in the Round. So that's what this is about. It was brand new at the time, so that was pretty cool. And I got my first job working at SeaWorld. This is pre-printed Fast2Fab, a pre-printed Fast2Fab page. And all I did was add the program pages and this little journal box right here. And same thing over here. This was our Christmas program from our church Christmas choir. And then this was a newspaper clipping that I put into a peekaboo pocket and then trimmed it to fit. And then what I did to seal it was I put adhesive on the very edge right here. I put adhesive so that this entire edge is sealed to go ahead and try to keep that newspaper as sealed off from air and elements as possible. And then it's sealed at the top as well. Like I said, I worked for SeaWorld. That was my first job. This was the decal that went in my window for parking. This was my uniform. I was just food service. It was fun. Messy, but fun. All right, and that brings us to our pages that we're going to work on today. So let me just move these pages that are done so we can get started on these. So these green apples, and I'm not super fond of this. So I thought, well, I have red apples. I have a page that has red apples, a piece of paper, and I have this cool kind of a plaid in gold, yellow gold, and some other elements that I could use to complement both of those things. So I pulled those out to use on these pages. These pictures are of an event that my parents were at with me, and I was at a student devotional, again a part of that university choir. We got to sing in Anaheim, and this is a card from a family member from out of state that I didn't know very well. And he sent me some old pictures of my grandmother, which I highly value because she died 3 months before I was born. So really, really special to have some really cute, beautiful pictures of her. I'm going to take this page, which as you can see is designed as a Fast2Fab page, and I'm going to cut it down the middle so that each of these corners can be used on a separate page. So I'm going to just cut this straight down the middle at 6 inches. And then I'm going to go ahead and cut this page also straight down the middle at 6 inches so that we can weld the two of these together and make some wallpaper that will work. Because I want to cover up the green apples. That's why we're going to do this. And I do need a couple of strips for welding. So let me just grab a quick piece of cardstock that I can cut. This isn't really cardstock, but it'll work. I just need a couple of 1-inch strips to be able to go ahead and weld these pieces together. So if you're saying, oh no, I hate welding, welding is awful, why is she going to do that? Let me just share with you, as I've shared in other videos, the coolest thing ever for welding pages together. Oh. That is almost the same on both sides. That's kind of cool. Okay, so you put your two pages together that you want to weld. Line them up as perfectly as you can. Then take your permanent adhesive and put about 1 inch worth of permanent adhesive across that weld. I do mine at an angle because I just like to do mine at an angle. Then you take your welding strip and place it evenly. Center the the area where the two papers come together, and you just place that on there and push down, and your papers are now welded together. Cool beans, right? Okay, so we're going to do the same thing for these two pages over here. That is my favorite tip, I think, ever. I use it a lot, and it was not my idea. I learned that tip from another Creative Memories advisor. Her name is Sherry Tilley, and I always make sure and let everybody know that it was her idea, because I have gotten a lot of mileage out of that. And it works so well that I just love it to pieces. And I'm so grateful that she shared it with me. All right, so I'm going to place these in my album on my pages this way. And just for some variety, because most of the time on my other pages in this album that I have welded things together, I've done them vertically. So this time around, we're just going to shake things up and do it horizontally. So I'm going to just go right around these newly created pages and add some adhesive about every 3 inches or so, give or take. Then I'm going to go ahead and put this in here so we can cover up those green apples. I don't mean to make it sound like I hate green apples. I don't hate green apples. I just, for the purposes of what I needed right about now in my book, I need something different. So we are covering them up. All right, so there is the one. Now we'll do a second one. Oh goodness, I hate it when that happens. My adhesive catches and I waste a whole bunch of it because it just runs. All right. Makes me feel wasteful when I do that. Okay. There we go. Now, so one of the things, as I said before, that I'm putting on these two pages is a card. If you are going to put a card, oh, excuse me, I'm so sorry. If you're going to put a card onto your pages, you can do it a couple of different ways. You can create a pocket so that you're just slipping the card into a pocket that you can then remove the card later to be able to look at it. Or sometimes you can just open the card up and use just the open part of the card. Depending on the type of card it is, you can sometimes cut the front piece off. This particular card opens completely up, and you can see the glue marks from it being in a magnetic album previously. But what I want to do with this card is go ahead and cut it apart so that I can still maybe use the front piece and still retain all of the decoration and the detail of the inside of the card. So I'm going to first cut it apart at the half mark, just shy of the fold. All right, so I have this part now. And then I'm going to go ahead and, just to make this easier, go ahead and cut the front of the card off so that I can ditch this piece. There's nothing on this to want to keep. And I just looked up and noticed that for some reason this is a little close. Maybe it's okay. All right. Now you could just use this piece and maybe just offset it, and then you have both pieces, both parts of your card. Or we could cut around this heart right here and use that and maybe glue it so that it is covering the opening of the heart right here. In fact, we actually probably could, let's see, might be able to actually just adhere that. But the problem with that is when we lose all of the detail of this cute little picture right here, if we do that. But maybe I'll do that anyway. It'll be all right. And that's a lot less laborious than what I was thinking I was going to want to do. So let's do that. And I'm just going to put a little bit of extra adhesive kind of around the points of the heart there so that it stays in place. Just center it the best I can. All right, now I have a portion of that is kind of sticking off. I could use my trimmer and trim this, but instead I'm just going to grab my scissors because I have them handy and trim off the extra because the top was cut slightly crooked. All right, so that'll work. And then if we put the apples behind it, that even looks cuter, I think. Okay, now I've got these pictures I want to include. For sure, these three, they're from a similar event. Nice young man that I danced with, and my dad that I danced with at this, I think it was some kind of a winter dance, something like that. It seems like there's snowflakes and things like that. Not my boyfriend. I was not one of those girls that had lots of boyfriends. So maybe what we'll do is kind of put the pictures more in the center of our layout. Or maybe what we could do is even just shift these around just a little and put the card over here and these photos kind of like so. Because I also have this program that I would like to include, and I don't think I need the whole thing, so I'm just gonna go ahead and cut this so that it's not adding extra weight to my book, because I don't really need the extra weight from all the extra pages. I want this cover, and I want I think I want the program too. If I can find a way to make it all work. If I can't find a way to make it all work, then we will sacrifice the program. But so we might need to move this picture over here, and for the sake of continuity, move this picture down here so that all of these photos are kind of in the same place. I want that program to be with that. Well, it's shaping up. It's getting there. Okay. This is a quote that my Jack sent me. So I'm going to put that, I want to put that in there too, but I think I want to, this photo is so dark, I can't hardly even tell that that's me. So we're going to not have that in there, because there's no reason. And I think I'm going to mount this quote on this little mat card. That will carry some of our yellow up into the top part of our page. And then I've got this cute journal box card we can also use. I'll have to figure this out here. Maybe scoot that in just a little, and we could kind of scoot this down, that over. That way that gives me a place that I can write all about the fact that on my way in for this event, I was in the choir, but we were walking and taking in the sights as we were walking over to the assembly hall where it was being held. I think it was in the Anaheim Convention Center. It was a really big event. And we were walking, and there was just a lot to see and a lot going on, and I didn't notice that all the people in the front of my group were stepping down some stairs, and I didn't see the stairs. When it got to be my turn to step down the stairs, I was still gawking at all the wonderful things I was seeing. And I fell hard, because when I fall, I don't fall gracefully. And I tore up my pantyhose that I had on, because this is back in the days when I used to wear pantyhose. I don't really do that anymore. And it was really a mess, honestly. I was a mess, and my knee was bloody, and it was kind of disastrous, to be completely honest. But I persevered, and I had practiced for 6 months. I had memorized songs and music in order to participate in this event, and I just didn't want to miss it. So they propped my knee up on the seat in front of me in the arena, and when we were not singing, my knee was propped up, my leg was propped up, and had wet paper towels and anything cold we could think of to be on it. It swelled up really big. It was kind of a disastrous mess, but I got to sing, and I got to be there, and it was awesome. And yeah. Anyways, moral of the story: if you are at the back of the pack and you are in a foreign place, just be a little more aware of what's going on, so that it doesn't happen to you, because it was really a mess. Anyway, I get to try to document that. If you've been watching my channel, you know that sometimes I prattle on about stuff. And so I get to try to condense that story into this little bitty square. That ought to be fun, don't you think? One of the things I think is cool about having a YouTube channel is I get to tell these stories to all of you people out there who are sweet and listening. And one day, when I'm not here anymore, my kids will still maybe hopefully be able to access YouTube and hear all these wonderful stories. But hopefully I have written them down also. Okay. Here is my ticket to get in for that. Everything adhered. Okay, so everything is on there. Good. I also have these apples, which I thought were really cute. And I thought maybe I could add to bring a little bit of red down into the bottom here. So, well, I may have to play with that. The thing about memorabilia is you just have to kind of shift things around until it's in an arrangement that you are good with. Because sometimes it's not all appropriately squared or level, or, you know, sometimes it just doesn't play nice with your layout. So you just have to do the best you can to make it work. So I'm just going to center this kind of with the heart so that you can still see the heart, like so. And then I want this to be at roughly the same level as this other page, so I'm just going to kind of keep that close so I can see. So my lower border is roughly the same place. All right, dancing with my daddy. Okay, now I think with these apples, I really do want to incorporate these, but they're going to be a little bit off. So I think what I'm going to do is just grab my scissors. This is a laser border that was part of one of the other back to school collections. It's not a part of the current collection, but I did pull it out of my storage to go ahead and use because it just looked really cute, and I'm going to just sort of set it right in here in between those, just to give a little bit of definition to my page, since I have several events represented on these pages. Just kind of trimming that apple a little bit to make it work a little bit better. And then I'm not sure whether I want to put it here, but then it's going to cover up Audra's signature, and I don't want to do that. So maybe I'll just kind of offset it. I can sit kind of there. Okay. All right. I think these pages are going to be good. I'm not going to add too much more. I've got my journal box. I've got a couple of embellishments. I've got my memorabilia that kind of carries my colors throughout the page. And I think I'm going to go with that and call that good. And this video has gotten quite lengthy, so I'm going to go ahead and just stop this here, and I will start another one for some more of 12th grade. All right, thanks so much for joining me. I hope this has been helpful and has given you some good ideas for things you can use in your back to school albums. And tune in next time for some more. All right, thanks so much. Again, I hope you have many more creative moments. Have a great day.